Hello, everybody. It's Bill's that college football guy. Another video. Yeah, red shirt. Yeah, it's my dad's shirt. Kids, grandkids asked me to wear it, so I'm wearing it. Um, okay. It's on the title on here. What if the Super League doesn't happen? Well, this is about a realignment scenario for the P4. What would happen about it is like basically is like if the proposal we talk about of the P2 break off SEC and the Big Ten break off, they go do their thing. They take some schools from the ACC and the Big 12 with them. Well, what if that doesn't happen? That's in the case of this realignment scenario. What if this doesn't happen? What would it be? Well, first off, this isn't me. We're gonna have a bunch of these to talk about over the off season here, a bunch of options, and I'm gonna put the first one out here, and we're gonna do a proposal, and you guys, what if this happened instead of this? Throwing in your ideas, you guys making suggestions, but this still wouldn't happen till 2031 to 2040. We're still 5+ years away from this ever happening, and this because with the ACC lawsuits going the way they're going, and now movement happening in the ACC, this would be one of the triggers for it. And so I think that's how this is going to go. So, what's going to happen? Well, this has been in the works for a while. I was doing notes and doing okay. Now, if this did this, trying to work it out in my head. I was in the truck, trying to think of ideas, or here at home thinking about it. What would it be? Where would the schools go? What would the ideas would be? And the thing is about it is, you look at the Big Ten, and they got all the money, but they don't have all the ratings. The TV viewership is down. I mean, it is really, really down right now. And it's not as many, like the magic number I've been hearing is like 3.5, 4 million a game. Is where the magic number is, where they want you to be for your big marquee matchups. And the SEC has far more than the Big Ten does. Big Ten has all the players they have and all the money, but they don't have the markets. And Petiti, I think, memory serves correctly, I think he used to work for CBS Sports, or one of the networks. Y'all can correct me in the comments. Let me know where I'm wrong here. And his thing is about getting ratings. He wants to do is bring in. So the fact is, to bring in the ratings, you don't have the premier matchups right now. You don't have them. Now, the premier matchup that would get them the most ratings is Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not coming. Notre Dame is the pipe dream. I mean, it's going to be, it'd have to be like a Super League to get them to force their hand. A new subdivision to get them to force their hand, to get them to commit to do something. Maybe the only way it works. But right now, they need to get matchups. Now, I had notes on this, and I think I've watched a bunch of videos, and some of them over the last 4 months have said the same idea. Most recent one was Big Mountain Podcast, where they did one about Big Ten expansion, where they mentioned the two schools I mentioned. Now, understand the fact of this. This is talking 2040, 6 to 15 years from now. A lot of things can happen between now and then. And they need to bring in the two that have the most viewership and bring in the most ratings, that have the fan bases. Now, the Big Ten, we're starting with the Big Ten for one reason. They're going to be the one that kind of starts this in a way, is that they have also, one of their big requirements is AAU membership. AAU is, or close to it. That's what their things are there. Oh, it doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter. Then why does it matter for the Big Ten? What we think doesn't matter. What we think doesn't matter. What university presidents and chancellors and Petiti, the commissioner, they say does matter. AAU matters to them. One of these schools, the Credentials, is an AAU member. One is not and is working on it. And I figure by the time this happens, they probably will be, or close enough because of their viewership they get in. And that's Florida State and Miami. I've had this on there, and people say, oh, Miami, they just did the lawsuit with Wisconsin. They're not going to let them in. There's no... You honestly think that's the first time that's going to happen between now and 2031? There's going to be about probably 50 more between now and then. This is just the one that's got the first one. But there will be more. So that's happening there because Florida State, Miami says, "Oh, bring in Colorado." Prime leaves. This is not Coach Prime's final destination. Is not the Colorado Buffaloes. He's going to go somewhere else, possibly to Florida State. If he goes somewhere, NFL maybe, and then comes back after Norvell gets fired and takes the job at Florida State, how big will their ratings be then? The Big Ten won't be able to ignore them. AAU or not, they're going to take them. Miami has AAU. They'll let it work out. This is on there. Those two will go in. Now, what does the SEC do? Now, and first off, he said the fact was if the Big Ten had the option to get Notre Dame, would they do it? The Big Ten has a plan to possibly do this with 22 members. The only way they would do it is if Notre Dame's one of those two. Then it's Notre Dame and whoever the hell else. So the SEC, what do they plan on doing? Say they're only going to grab two. No. The SEC looking for premier matchups. They don't need any premier matchups. What they've been looking about, we've been hearing about. This is rumor and innuendo, but basically Sankey talking to boosters of various universities, the big ones, that this isn't about, for the SEC, isn't about getting football brands because who's left? Who's left for them? That's like they don't care about Florida State and Miami. They don't care about them. They don't matter. We got Florida. We could care less about Florida State and Miami. If they were important before, they'd be in the SEC now. They're not because they're not important to them. It's like we said, the old joke was back there is after Oklahoma and Texas came in the SEC, are we expanding, grabbing some more schools? And the donor I was talking to turned around and laughed at me and says, not unless Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan want to join. We're done. And I ran into him about 3 months ago. He says, so thinking that way? No, there's a fourth school. I said, oh, Clemson? He says, nah, probably Penn State. Because they have a good viewership group and they're going to be going somewhere. Maybe Penn State, but those are the only premier matchups we're looking for. So Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Do you think the SEC has any chance in blue hell of getting any of them? No. But they were looking at, the point for the SEC was not getting premier matchups, was expanding markets and expanding alternate revenue streams. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Alternate revenue streams. One word. Basketball. SEC knows the fact that there's going to be the basketball moves coming in there. The tournament's going to expand, more shares, so they need more basketball schools. And consequently, if they play football, that's great because they're going to lighten the load on all the major matchups. So that way there's a few more mid-card to low schools, cupcakes they can beat up to pad the stats of the better teams, just like the Big Ten does right now. So, hey, learn from the best, right? They're the best conference right now. You guys are cupcaking your schedule up with all these supposedly weaker teams. Why not the SEC do the same thing? What's the harm? Can't complain about it, can you? So who the hell are they going after? 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12. So, 2 from the ACC. Might have heard of them. North Carolina and Virginia. 2 new markets. Middle-of-the-road football programs. Although with Belichick in North Carolina, they're making moves the other way. 2 basketball powerhouses who are national championship contenders. Who are the 2 from the Big 12 they want to go after? Who are those 2? New markets. Now, here's the deal. I've talked about the old guard of the SEC. This is older administrators and older donors, larger families, big-time, big-money donors to universities who have a vision of what they want the SEC to be. There's one school from the Big 12 I want to mention first. We're talking about expanding markets. We're talking about bringing back and rekindling some old Big 12 rivalries. We're talking about bringing in school that is a basketball powerhouse, and we're talking about Kansas. That's what they're planning in here. Now, the old guard doesn't want Kansas and doesn't want Virginia, because North Carolina, they want North Carolina. UNC is a brand. Virginia, Kansas, they're not on that level. Why am I bringing in? Well, we need them in for basketball. Well, the old guard basically told them, you want these 2? You do something for us. There's a school that was denied in 2012. that we wanted in. We pushed hard to get in the SEC. And ESPN talked all of us out of it to bring in Missouri. We want them back in. We are still wanting them back in. That school is West Virginia. They still want West Virginia in the SEC. So West Virginia is going to be coming back in. That's the plan there. You have a plan. Basketball, West Virginia is definitely not that damn bad. They're a damn good program on that way. Football's up and is improving up, trying to get back up where it's at. New market. West Virginia, because they might have said like West Virginia. Why West Virginia go in? Like you have a fan base that basically dominates the state in a small town, college town, who the fan base talks up the university, will talk trash to anybody else, will stand up for the university, damn proud of it, show up every single game, rain or shine, win or loss, whether they're 10-0 or 0-10. They still show up no matter what. They support no matter what. They will defend their program. They will talk trash to anybody, and if necessary, they will fight you over it. Sounds a hell of a lot like an SEC fan base to me. So that's where we're going here. West Virginia basketball, football. Old guard gets happy. They get West Virginia. They get North Carolina. The SEC gets Kansas and Virginia. You have three basketball brands. West Virginia may not say on the level of a Kansas and North Carolina or Virginia, but they're getting up there. So now, who's the best basketball conference? If the SEC, who already has all these schools, adds Kansas, North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia? You sure the Big 12 is the best basketball conference? Not anymore. Now, that's on there. And what are they going to add from there? Done. No more. SEC is closed for business. Not unless Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State want to join. In which case, hey, we'll make it a 24-team conference. Why not? But they're going to be done because they will have expanded the footprint. They have gotten the markets they want. They have gotten the basketball schools they want. And they can just build and nothing else. So, where does this go from here? There's two ways of looking at this. This is one scenario. There's a scenario where somebody said the ACC is going to get pillaged or the Big 12 will get pillaged. This scenario is neither one. Big 12 can't get anybody from the ACC. ACC can't get anybody from the Big 12. Now, the ACC, if you look at the math, just lost 4 schools. 4. They planned on 3 when they brought in SMU, Stanford, and Cal. They planned on 3. 4, not so much. They can't get anybody from the Big 12. They're going to have to go G5. Are they going to not add 1 school? No, they'll add 1. And there's only one that will go. 1 and 1 only. And that's South Florida. AAU, it gets them back in Florida. The football program's building up. Basketball's, they've won the American. I think it was not past season, but the season before. They're a basketball program that's moving up, so that helps out the ACC. So instead of being at 17, they're back at 14. They're fine. Big 12, down to 14. You lost your biggest basketball brand, arguably, and a big football brand. Where the hell are you going? This one's a little bit harder because it's going like, okay, what are you going to do? And I put up the scenario was this could be contingent on President Trump. And I said, like, how the hell is he going to do with this? Remember, he wants to eliminate daylight savings time? And he's listening to the doctors who are saying that if we fall back and stay there, it's better for people's sleep cycles. A lot of people want to move forward and stay there. But the recommendation we're hearing, everything would fall back. If everything falls back, Arizona is no longer in Pacific time at any point in the year when everybody springs forward. They will permanently be in Mountain, which means they lose the Pacific time zone. Now, will the Big 12 care? That's one way of looking at this. So, first off, East-wise, you lost West Virginia. You're not getting Louisville. You got Cincinnati. What are you going to do? East-wise. 1 school. Basketball, football, from the G5, you add 1. East side. You add 1. that's kind of a bridge between Cincinnati and UCF, and that's Memphis. You add Memphis into the Big 12 on the eastern side, that helps out the eastern flank. Would you add a second school? Possibly. Like, this is the scenario where it comes by that if daylight savings doesn't change, he doesn't get it done. Trump doesn't, it does whatever the hell. They decide not to go west. You would get Memphis, and who else do you grab? Do you grab Tulane? Do you grab UTSA? Football and basketball. Who's the best at? Probably Tulane. They have a history of being football games. Get you in Louisiana. New market there. So the Big 12 expands its footprint that way. Now, what if they decide to go west? What would the choice be then? Well, if you're going to go west and you got to pick a G5 for the Big 12, well, there's a possibility the Big 12 may stay. We're going to stay at 14 and wait. I don't know if the media partners would like that. I don't know if they want to add G5. So this is my theory here. The ACC, I think, would add 1 because 13 is not a number. Big 12 down to 14, there's a possibility the media partners say don't add anybody right now. But if they lose the Pacific time zone, you want that money, you're going to have to add somebody for that 2031 deal. So, 4 candidates. You got Oregon State, you got Washington State, you got Boise, you got UNLV. Everybody's going to be a fan is going to decide who they want. Look at the Big 12. What are they going to want to do? Make the partners happy, the membership happy. So who do the members want? Boise would be a big ad, but basketball-wise, they're not. In fact, none of the schools out west really are. So that's kind of not there, you know? Nobody's A-list. So it's like, they say, well, we're this, and we're this, and we're... No. So you look at it this way. Which would you... And the fact this comes out, it's like viewership numbers. You don't really care that much because you're looking at boosting them into the Big 12 and they're going to get their numbers up. So that doesn't matter either. So I've made my choice, and I pissed a lot of people off about it. It says, look where the Big 12's at west-wise. Western schools, BYU, furthest west are BYU, Utah, Arizona, Arizona State. That's the western line right there. You got that part west. I realize I'm going backwards with the camera. So, going backwards west, you go up to Pullman, Washington, for Washington State, down a little bit to Corvallis, up a little over to Boise, or right next to everybody with UNLV. A billion flights in and out of that place because everybody flies to Vegas. There's pretty much non-stops everywhere. Existing rivalries with Arizona and Arizona State. Existing rivalries with 3 former Mountain West schools, all 3 now in the Big 12 in Utah, BYU, and TCU. Major media market. It's in the Pacific time zone. It's closer to all the other ones, and travel is going to be easy. I'm going to let you argue over that one in the comments, but if they do you think they go 2 east or 1 east, 1 west? I think the only way they go west is if President Trump says daylight savings time is gone and we're all permanently falling back. Then it'd be like they've lost the Pacific time zone. The media partners would be saying, hey, you need to get it back. You want to keep this deal for your extension, next deal, you need the Pacific time zone. So my pick would be they do 1 west, 1 east, they do Memphis and UNLV. Now, where does this go from here? Well, Pac-12, this is assuming the fact I'm not going, because we have no additions at this point in time at this recording of this video. We have 7 members of the Pac-12. We have 8 full members of the Mountain West. We just lost 1. UNLV's gone. Now, I don't know if Tarleton State's going to be a member at this time or UC Davis will be in. they may have to go call up in Mexico State. If UC Davis is a full member at this point in time, Tarleton is, they can be fine and stand where it's at. Problem is, if UNLV leaves, does Air Force say, you know what? We're good. We're going to go to the AAC as a football only. Move our Olympic sports to the Big Sky, and we're going to go to the Mountain West. Leave them there. So now you've lost 2 schools. Now you could have the SCS schools coming in. They could be bringing in, they could bring in Mexico State. They could bring in Sacramento State. They could decide to go as a full member. They could go after the Montanas. Something. Full membership. You got 2 full members you got to replace. Because you only have 8 right now. And they're recording this video. And if you lose, the UNLV would leave to go to the Big 12. I think Air Force would be able to go to the AAC. They would leave immediately. So now you got 2 full spots to fill. And I don't know by the time this happened, if UC Davis or Tarleton's even to be there, or Tarleton we would be there. You may have to call New Mexico State. You may have to call Sacramento State. And if they fall below 8 members, like say this happens in say 2031 and UNLV notifies in 2030, they technically have till 2032 because they'll have 2 years from 2031, which puts in 2033, the 2-year mark to get your conference back up to 8 members. So technically they'd have 2 years. So they could go a little bit more and get somebody, wait a year, get an FCS school in, and by the time the 2-year window comes up, they got an FCS school who'll be eligible to be in by that time. Because hopefully the House settlement will be done by 2031, because it's not what the blue hell are we doing at this point. Now, let's just say that happens, UNLV left, and it's Memphis and South Florida. The American just lost 2. Air Force are coming as a football only. I think they would keep them as a football only. Would they add 1 more? Because they already have Wichita State as a basketball member, so that adds up to that. Would they add 2 more full members or just 1? You lost Memphis. You lost Florida. You have FAU in the American. There's no real other Florida schools to get, so it doesn't make much sense going there. You have a presence in North Carolina. You don't have anybody in Memphis. Do you really want to go down and go get Middle Tennessee State from Conference USA, which is outside of Nashville, to try to bring it in? Or do you go to the Sun Belt and go after James Madison and Appalachian State, the 2 best members of the conference? And Madison and App State leave. Probably most likely what will happen. Now, the Sun Belt's down to 12. Are they going to add 2? Yeah. The 2 they're going to add, most likely, I'm figuring it's going to be the 2 that have former schools have left and now want to come back. They left the Sun Belt in 2013 and 2014, respectively. I'm talking about Middle Tennessee State and Western Kentucky. They left the Sun Belt to go to Conference USA because Conference USA paid more money. Yeah. Just don't see it happening. But they could be the ones going. So this is a scenario, folks. Scenario that happens. Because realignment rolls downhill. We all know this. Big 10 to get to 20 takes Florida State and Miami. The SEC to get to 20 takes North Carolina, Virginia, Kansas, and West Virginia. ACC adds South Florida. Big 12 adds UNLV and Memphis. The American adds Air Force, Appalachian State, and Coastal Carolina. Mountain West adds Mexico State and Sacramento State, maybe? I don't know. You let me know in the comments about that one. Sun Belt, because they lost 2, grabs Middle Tennessee State and Western Kentucky. Rolls downhill. This is the first. This is going to be a fluid situation with this one. This is the first one of this. I want to come up with another one here. I want your suggestions on it because I got another video about the American. We did one. They got a lot of views on that one. But someone suggested, no. The Pac-12 would raid the American would implode. Someone said, no, that's not what the Pac-12 would do. So we got to go over that again. But let me know about this one down in the comments. So thanks everybody for watching the video. If you haven't done already, do me the favor. Smash the like button, hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Helps YouTube know, hey, you know what? People watch this video. Maybe we got to promote it more. Really would appreciate it. Comment on the video. Hey, there's a lot to comment on here. What do you think about my choices for what the Big Ten is going to do, the SEC is going to do, the Big 12, the ACC? Alternatives, ideas, throw those out there in the comment section. If you have multiple points, leave multiple comments. Share the video if you want to. And if you haven't done it already, check out some other videos that I've done. If you like them, hey, subscribe to the channel. You want to follow me on X, the craziness that is there. The link is in the description. So thanks everybody for watching this Saturday evening. This will go live as soon as it goes up, as soon as I get recorded. So thanks everybody for watching. Be safe and please be good to each other.